Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ekuale, or good evening. I'm iiiYansaje Muse, bringing you all that mystic musical mojo. If you've been riding on the mothership for this day of Wednesday, the week's climax, then you started at 12 a.m. with some third eye healing, sleep meditation. You woke up to yesterday's forecast, 2 hours of Orisha music dedicated to Oya and Nanaburuku in the Rising Bembe, featuring the spirit of the Orisha album by Nana Sula Spirit, a fellow Leo, Ashe. And then after that, you enjoyed some old school, throwback, exotic, classic mother jams all day. Music from those like Angie Stone, Sade, Nina Simone. Along that line, you listened to some poetry and you got to ear hustle on what it's like to be a daughter of Oya. A conversation with Nana Sula Spirit, another fellow Leo. You had a trip throughout the world galaxy off of Alice Coltrane's harp. And now, here we are again. Tonight's forecast. But let's finish talking about Wednesday before we get to Thursday. But before we do that, let's give thanks and praises to the Most High for allowing us to have another 24. Ibashe Olodomare, Ibashe Olorum, Ibashe Olofi, Ibashe Bokbo, Orisha, Ibashe Egumi, Ibashe Egungunire. And most of all, Mojuba to your ancestors and spirit guides and Orisha heads that guided you here to this channel, to this broadcast tonight. Ashe. So let's start with the libation because we always got to keep the tradition no matter how time may evolve. I want you all to meditate on your ancestors as I read this poem that I've been sharing all week called Whispers in the Wind, an ode to Egunmi. Whispers in the Wind, an ode to Egunmi. Just when I thought I was a loner, hearing whispers in the wind. Humbly, ever gratuitous for revelations that they weren't imaginary friends. Just when I thought I was a loner, hearing whispers in the wind. Hoo-wee, shame on me, they never let me break, only bend. The ancient he's and she's of me enter my mind in correction. Speak through my taste in life. Only vintage selections. Serve warnings through my feelings in the pit of my belly. They, the legacy, I, the legend. Through me, they say it. I walk the globe as their mosaic. Many I never met them. Still I'll never forget when they stood sentinel in hats and high heels when my life was in mayhem. Odd as it may seem, I received many names and introductions and dreams. Quads of regimes, of divine warriors and women all seeming to resemble me. Correction, I look like them. I, the bloom. They, the root that pushes the stem. Just when I thought I was a loner. Hearing whispers in the wind. Gratuitous for revelations, they weren't imaginary friends. Chevy the left leg, lay the right. Visions in plain sight, slight questions I thought would never end. Patiently protecting me through every dark night, I began to understand why me they choose to send. Matriarchal mauve blossoms this sacred cloth with the meridian of dark rainbow flowers of mysteries. Loaded with patriarchal secrets, this sacred cloth I keep close to my heart like a Christian would a cross, just when I thought I was a loner. Hearing whispers in the wind. Ever gratuitous for revelations. That they weren't imaginary friends. For our ancestors in libation, Omi Tutu, Ona Tutu, Ile Tutu, Tutu Egun, Tutu Eshu Odara, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Mujibao-ya, Mujibao-ya, Mujibao-ya. Speaking of Oya, today, Wednesday, is her ruling day. So I just gave the rundown on what life would have been like for you if you would have joined on the mothership today. But on the outside of the mothership's walls, it's still Ojo Riru, or the day of confusion. There's a lot of practices that may not be a good idea to do tonight, those of you that are into certain aspects of hands-on prayer that people love to call ritual and witchcraft, but you can't even say the word spiritual without saying ritual. So what are we arguing about? Oya represents change, transformation. She rules the gates of the cemetery because she protects the wisdom of the ancestors. She rules the marketplace. She carries the ancestors in the wind. So it would make sense with a lot of constant change and transformation. Confusion is bound to happen. So Ojoriru, also Mercury, is one of two planets that rules Wednesday, and many in Ifa Orisha culture like to make Mercury sacred to Eshu. So you got the crossroad energy and you have the winds of change all working in duality on day 3 of the week that the book of Genesis said God created the quasars on day 3. Ashe. So how did you sort out any confusion in your life? Did anything come your way? Did some strange things happen that made you look at yourself? Change is good. So sometimes it's good to get hit with things so that you can transform into something better. Tonight's moon is waxing in Capricorn, zodiac house 10, ruled by Saturn, which is still in retrograde. We'll talk more about that later. And also today vibrates on Shango's number 6, or the book of Genesis says is the day of the beast. So if you're watching this at 9 p.m., you still got about 3 more hours to make the most of Wednesday's energy. If you're hearing this at 6 a.m., then this today is already yesterday, and the aforementioned is a distant memory. We're going to take a quick break, and when I come back, we're going to get into Thursday's forecast. I'm iiiYansaje Muse, and you are listening to 222.9 The Mothership, your mystic haven on the airwaves. Beam up. Every 4 minutes, the heavens switch positions, and it would serve your spirit well to have the heads up ahead of time, as every day is special, as we know. But this program is designed to bring you the mystic details of what makes each and every day special and different from the one before. It brings an elixir of numerology, astrology in various form, moon phases, daily divinations, and anything else pertaining to cosmic phenomena. Join me at 9 p.m. nightly for this elixir on The Forecast. If you miss your nightly forecast, well, it airs again at 6 a.m. So you can't miss it, at least and not be fully aligned with your day. So make sure that you tune in to The Forecast on 222.9 The Mothership. Beam up. And we're back. In case you're just now joining us, I'm iiiYansaje Muse, and you are listening to 222.9 The Mothership, your mystic haven on the airwaves, and we are cruising through Wednesday, Ojoriru, the day of confusion, heading into Ojobo, or the day of expansion, Thursday, the prelude to the weekend, The day ruled by Jupiter, the expansion planet. Now, day 4 of the week is where the energy begins to come down off of Wednesday's climax. That's why it's called the prelude to the weekend. In many traditions of African spirituality, Thursday is ruled by Shango, the Orisha of fire. The fires of passion now. Fire doesn't always have to mean lust or something bad or anything like that. But see, that's what I love about Orisha tradition. It teaches about balance versus imbalance as opposed to good versus evil. Meaning, the same fire that can burn a village down can sit some pots on top of it and cook up some things to feed some people's spirits and souls. You know what I mean? So if that fire comes up on you tomorrow, channel that fire. Because in connecting the planets, Wednesday is ruled by Mercury, right? Messenger of the gods. This is when you did the most communicating with the heavens. Jupiter expands those intentions. You see what I'm saying? So anything that you meditated on today and tonight runs a really high risk of being expanded tomorrow. You know how when people say when it rains it pours, and it's funny, it's raining as we speak, but I had to go outside and get some of that spiritual bath. A good impromptu bath is when it's raining. Random fact. I called it the spit bath from the mothers. Just go outside and get a couple of seconds of that and breathe and see how good you feel afterwards. Don't take my word for it. Just go out and do it. But anyway, I brought up rains because we often like to say when it rains, it pours. Now why does that happen? Because when we worry, we attract more to worry about. When we stress, we attract more to stress about. When we rejoice, we attract more to rejoice about. Why? Because our energy, our vibration communicates with the heavens. And planets like Jupiter expanded. So that's what kind of energy we're going into tomorrow. Okay? The daily numerology for Thursday is the number 7, the day of completion. So as Jupiter expands things, it can either expand what is old or expand what is new, depending on what you choose to bring it into within yourself. I'm iiiYansaje Muse, and you are listening to The Forecast. Beam up. Shh. Quiet. Calm. We're in the stacks. The books. The library. The books are but an evolved version of the woods because, like the trees, they hold much wisdom, only this time in printed form. Reading is good for your spirit and your mind, so let's take a literary journey. One book at a time. Let's explore. Yes, oh yes, the mothership has a built-in library that I like to call the stacks. Welcome. Wednesdays, Mercury, Uranus, purples, iiiYansaje Oya, iiiYansaje Nanaburu, maroons, exotic voices of the mothers. Welcome to Wednesdays on the Mothership, 222.9. Beam up. If you're just now joining us, I'm iiiYansaje Muse, and you are listening to The Forecast, your nightly mystic weather forecast of the cosmos. And we're talking about the last 3 hours of Wednesday. If you're listening at the 9 p.m. at 6 a.m., disregard this statement. And we're talking about what's going into Thursday with Jupiter's planet of expansion energies. Now, Thursday, I do have a blog series, and day 4 is I Chings and Scarlet Serenes, where I give teachings from the I Ching and teach about Shango and love the color red. So if you aren't already, visit the 222.9 The Mothership Facebook page and get a hold of that. I Chings and Scarlet Serenes. So, more about Thursday's powerful energy to come. So check this out. Tomorrow night's moon is the 4th supermoon in a row this year. 2022, the year of the woman, the year of the divine feminine and nurture. Ashe. And this isn't to squash or throw arrows or darts at men. If anything, fellas, take advantage of this divine feminine energy. It's the energy of nurture and taking care of yourselves. You are worth so much more than what you're told you can or can't provide. And anyone that can't value you over your wallet doesn't need to be there. Just saying. Take advantage of that energy. Know your worth. And love yourself the same way us ladies are doing. That way we can raise this vibration together and enjoy the heaven that we're building here on earth. Why not? Life is for the living, wouldn't you agree? We are still in, more about the moon. So we had a supermoon in May, one in June, one in July, and of course, one in August. But get this, it's full in the house of Leo's opposite sign, Aquarius. So a huge portal is opening in the 11th, that's a double digit, 11, add that up. That gives you another 2. And it's the house of knowing. And the opposite sign of the season that we're in, Leo. So on this full moon, when the sun and the moon are that far apart, that's not a bad thing. It's a time for checks and balances. So balance your sun energy with your moon energy. Balance your Leo energy with your Aquarius energy. Your Leo energy has a lot to do with your willpower. Your Aquarius energy has a lot to do with your knowing. So on this full moon, full in Aquarius during Leo season, expanded by Jupiter, because we're still in the second decan. So there's a double dose of that Jupiter energy. So in the second decan of Leo, we're in half Jupiter, half Sun. Okay? The moon is full. Thursday is ruled by Jupiter. And a house is Aquarius. Aquarius and Leo are opposites. So this is a good full moon to restore inner balance between your masculine and your feminine, between your ego and your spirit, and most of all, between your Leo willpower to do and your Aquarian energy of inner knowing. I'm going to let you marinate on that for a minute. I'm iiIyansaje Muse, and you are listening to The Forecast. Thursday's Red's Jupiter expansion. I Chings. Sensual voices of the fathers. Sacral chakra healing. iiiBansaje Shango, iiiBansaje Dada, iiiBansaje Aganju. Welcome to Thursdays on the Mothership. 222.9 Beam Up. And we're back. Before we go any further, I would like to wish a very happy and blessed solar return to any and all people who made their way to iiiYansaje from Orun on this day, or made your way from Earth to Earth from heaven. Happy solar return to everybody that will be born on tomorrow, August 11th. And 11, that's another double digit to think about. That adds up to a 2. So it's a lot of 2 energy, a lot of expansive energy. It's a lot of strong, powerful energy out there to work with tomorrow. So I'm just giving you the heads up on it. So maybe, just maybe, you'll use this energy to yours and the greater good's positive advantage. So check it out. If you were born August 11th, you have positive ideas and opinions, but are sometimes diffident. You have determination, perseverance, and energy, and you are fond of sports and pleasures. You will not fall in love at first sight, but when you do love, you will do so thoroughly and with absolute devotion. So if you have anyone in your life born on this day, take advantage of that blessing. Ashe, ashe, asheo. In the African way of the stars, or the 12 figures of African spirituality, we are in the season of the Kola night, and that's an earth sign. So that makes Leos born between the 2nd and the 12th a little more grounded than us wild Leos born between the 22nd and the 1st. So there's enough about that. But here's something to put on your mind as well. Just a little bit of food for thought. When you see a lot of Leos around you turning up because it's our season, don't take it personally. Prepare to turn up during your season. And in the meantime, in between time, let the Leos in your life teach you more about the Leo in you. Let's get to tonight's divination. Tonight's divination is not from a tarot deck as Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were, but from the I Ching, which is an oracle of gentle but powerful changes. I'll be right back. I'm iiiYansaje Muse, and you are listening to The Forecast. May 13th. Blank face, soapstone, my throne, no clones, dripping lyrical honey from my beehive drones or wasp nest. At the behest of my ego, I grow, I go, you'll know. Soon enough. The original rapper, your first hip-hop artist, was the ancient African warrior who told his stories of triumph or defeat over a drum beat. Ever wondered why rappers always say, "Give me a beat"? Well, that beat is the sacred baton of the heart. And what does rap even stand for anyway? Rhythm and poetry. So why not experience it in its raw form? You know, the open style, blaze the mic, spit the bars, poetic gospel. Oh yes. So if you aren't afraid, then join us at 6 p.m. for Rhyme, the Underground Gospel. That's 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, that is, for an hour of straight bars from everyday people. And who knows, you may hear a few of Mama's rhymes. Only on your mystic musical haven on the airwaves, 222.9, the mothership. Beam up. And we're back. In case you were just now joining us, I'm iiiYansaje Muse, and you are listening to your Mystic Haven on the airwaves, 222.9, the mothership. Now, before I get to tonight's divination, I skipped a step. I forgot to make mention of the 3 planets, outer planets, that are still in retrograde. That would be Saturn, that would be Neptune, and that would be Pluto. With Saturn in retrograde, all this great energy going on for tomorrow, still keep in mind the intentions behind your manifestations. Saturn is a planet of grounding, gravity, discipline. Saturn is also the trickster planet. Tricksters are sacred to SU. And remember, SU has no problem laughing with you or at you. It's all in the power of your choice. Neptune is in retrograde until December 3rd, and that is a serious time of introspection. So, if many of you are feeling the urge to draw your energy back and just kind of sit with you for a while, not worry about so many problems that you really can't do anything about, to just send your love and light into the world, you're not wrong if that's how you're feeling. That's the Neptune in you telling you to draw in and take care of yourself. That's the energy of the year itself, 2022, telling you to draw in and take care of yourself. And as long as Neptune is in retrograde, and this year is showing all four portals open between the 2, the 0, the 2, and the 2, this is why that is. So allow yourself to trust your energy. Pluto. Pluto is the higher octave of Mars, which is the planet of regeneration. So with Pluto in retrograde, you want to address your projections. Take a deeper look at your shadow work. Anyone you have an issue with, examine why you have an issue with them, and then check it in yourself. Let's get to tonight's divination. All right, so as you can see here, I have tonight, Wednesday night's card still here in the corner, in the top corner. This is from the Mayan Oracle deck, and this bar represents the number 5. And the 5 means to center. And centering is really important, especially at the week's climax. I would say at the week's climax, the day that I've created to be sacred to the third eye, the day ruled by Mercury and Uranus, and the day, of course, ruled by Oya, changes and transformation. Centering is very important. So let's start with the centering energy tonight, if you're listening at 9 p.m. If you're listening at 6 p.m., disregard. But we move into Thursday, where we get to Oracles 46 and 48. Now, with the I Ching, with the throws of these coins, yins and yangs change. Now 46 represents pushing upward, just like a plant would in growth. It's ascendant step by step, because remember at the beginning of the week we spoke on slowing down to speed up. This reiterates Moon Day's statement, pushing upward, taking things step by step. Take the time to go within and organize yourself, mind, body, spirit, your house, all of that. Preparation. Those of you that are preparing for the new world to come. Those of you that are preparing for the generations behind you. This would make a lot more sense to you. Relax and release worry and pull straight from the source. And what is the source? The source is the God in you, the consciousness in you, the higher spirit in you. Small achievements create larger ones, so be happy and gratuitous and celebrate any small victory that you have, because journeys of 1,000 miles begin with the first step. Amazon started with a vending table and a banner on the wall. Look at where it is now. KFC started with how many herbs and spices in somebody's kitchen. Now it's a worldwide franchise. And you have the same power they did. It's just all in taking the baby steps. Or as the African proverb says, you eat an alligator one bite at a time. And in this we learn that true blessing is consistency. And we learn to be thankful for what we have, to do what we need to do today, and to watch it grow, as opposed to wanting overnight gratification. That's destination addiction. So let's not get so in a hurry to get to the destination that we forget about the journey. Now, in line 5 of this oracle, the line changes. An old yin becomes young yang and creates Oracle 48, the well. Now I love this. The well The oracle is making a reference to the well of water. And in ancient times, and still now, it's just a lot more camouflaged, people built the cities around the resources, meaning the well didn't get up and move to the city. The city was built around the well. Why? Because everyone needs water. So they built living arrangements around where their needs were. This may be another reason many of you are being called within to become more recluse. Because if you are a spirit who is more of a resource than a consumer, then people will build their cities around the resources that they need. And if that resource is you, maybe you're the one who needs to spend some time in stillness. And stillness is one of the vibrations of Leo energy, as we are still in Leo season. The sun is still. The planet orbits around it. The sun is still, and the planets orbit around it. So find that Leo in you to vibrate in your stillness so that you become the well and you become the water that other people need for healing. And you get to move at your own pace. I'm going to take a quick break and let you marinate on that real quick. I'm iiiYansaje Muse, and thank you for tuning in to the forecast. Beam up. Thursday's Red's Jupiter expansion. I Ching's. Sensual voices of the fathers. Sacral chakra healing. Ibashe Shango, Ibashe Dada, Ibashe Aganju. Welcome to Thursdays on the Mothership. 222.9. Beam up. And we're back. I'd like to take this moment to thank you for joining me for this evening's or this morning's forecast. Those of you that are watching via screen, I am broadcasting live from my personal Facebook page, the 222.9 The Mothership Facebook page, my I Ching's and Scarlet Serene's Facebook page for Thursday, the Malbik Planetarium for Wednesdays. If you haven't already, subscribe on YouTube because I'm over there too. And of course, those of you that are listening while you work, which is what I prefer, tune this in, tune the visual out, and tune this in as you're making your crafts. Tune this in as you're creating your jewelry. Tune this in as you're making your products. Tune this in as you go about your daily life. Because to be quite honest, I would much rather be heard than seen. So of course, I am broadcasting live from the 222.9 The Mothership Airways. You can beam up via Android, iPhone, or computer desk or laptop. For Android, you want to go to Google Play, punch in 222.9 The Mothership. It comes up, beam it up, and then you can connect that to anything with a Bluetooth. If you are tuning in via iPhone, you want to get the Simple Radio app. Simple Radio app. There's a whole lot of other radio stations you're going to have to bypass to get to mine, but that's okay. Punch in 222.9 The Mothership, and you are beamed up. And again, you can connect to anything with a Bluetooth. You can visit the Mothership's main webpage at www.poeticallymuse.org/Mothership. And let me see, where else? Oh, and there are players on each of my 8 blogs. And Thursdays will be I Chings and Scarlet Serenes. Now I'm going to take a break before I say goodnight. And while this commercial is running, I'm going to post the links real quick. So hold on 1 second. I'm iiiYansaje Muse, and you are listening to Forecast. Beam up.
Black, black tinged with red, cardamancy readings, iiiYansa's glass gourd bottle art, books, crossroad gifts, crossroad inspired healing stone jewelry, and other consecrated mystic oddities. It's all inside the Mothership Mystic Boutique, the Saturn Collection. Reds, vivid red oranges, I Ching readings, iiiYansa's glass gourd bottle art, fire-inspired handmade healing stone jewelry, books, digital prints, personalized oils and baths, Scarlet Serene articles, and online courses, and other mystic oddities. It's all inside the Mothership Mystic Boutique, the Jupiter Collection.
And we're back. Okay, so I think I just punched it in here. Okay, I just put the link in there to my link tree. And I'll do some more posting. I know I keep saying that, but I'm really going to do it this time. Thank you for beaming up to tonight's forecast. Thank you all for riding with me as I get a little bit more relaxed with broadcasting live on camera. And by all means, beam up to the mothership, because when the clock strikes 10, we have 2 hours of exotic love music in my visions of what love looks like. Then when the clock strikes 12, we go into our sacral chakra healing sleep meditation, followed by this forecast again at 6 a.m., the rising Bembe to Shango, and then we're in the fire starter groove of the fathers. All you come get it men, Prince, Michael Jackson, Bootsy Collins, Bruno Mars, the such. Only on your Mystic Haven on the airwaves, 222.9, the mothership. And I'm iiiYansaje Muse signing off. Love you guys. Love and light. Good night and beam up. There's a whole lot more where this came from. Ashe.